Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hey, Haribo, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Maharaj. How are you?
You got a real fancy shirt on today.
Sorry, I should go like this.
You looks like you're up there in Iceland and next to the ocean there.
Oh no, I like this because you're right. It's like a beach. There's no other thing we can go near to a beach, so I thought I'll have this.
My T-Lex, right?
No, this is I got from IKEA, so it's just a
Oh, okay. Famous
yeah.
IKEA. So Brahmacharya is going to come on. I think. Let
Oh,
me see if he wrote me back. I don't think he wrote me back yet. He
okay,
asked because he's speaking in the Bhakti Center from 10:30 to 11:30 our time.
okay,
So, uh, so he'll come on between 10 and 10:30. I think I would rather go early too, if that's possible.
yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise I'll sit here and think, oh, he said that, he said that. No, I can't say that. No, I can't say this.
Right.
How's your health? Are you okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj. We are okay. Chitra was not feeling well, my wife, but she's getting better now. Yeah.
Okay, she didn't get COVID though, right?
No, no, no,
Yeah,
no. No, that was, we were worried about that
yeah.
because, it almost said, okay, you're getting weak. So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just me and you.
Right now, Maharaj, I think Chakri Prabhu will be here soon.
Yeah.
And then we will get, Maharaj, would you want to start with the Kirtan then? When
Oh,
they,
I don't do kirtan.
okay.
If somebody turns it on and I'm doing kirtan, they'll turn it right off.
Oh, hello, Maharaj. Then I'll ask Chakri Prabhu to do a Kirtan when he comes on.
I could probably do Shri Guru Charana Padma,
Okay.
and then and then I'll just translate it, and that'll be my talk.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find this pair of cartels within 2 minutes.
Okay.
Me, la. Actually, they say that if you're going to speak, give a lecture, or if you're going to sing, you should go. You get all the pitches in your vocal cords set up. So that,
Wow. Yep.
yeah, the professionals, there's always a professional that tells you to do something.
Right. Yeah.
I was in transit in Atlanta one time,
Uh-huh.
flying from Gainesville, Florida to LA for a BBT meeting. And in transit, I saw the USA Today newspaper. So I picked it up, and it said, what the expert, hey, there's Maturna.
There's Mathura
And it
Prabhu.
says, what the experts say you have to do to have a complete day. And so you have to work, you have to exercise, you have to be with your wife, you have to be with yourself, you have to be with your kid, you have to do this. And it takes 47 hours a day to do everything the experts say you have to do to be a complete person. It takes 47 hours a day to be what you're supposed to be.
We might do it for 47 minutes or 47 seconds.
Yeah, right. I bought Chaitanya Chandra.
Haribol,
I bought Maturanath Prabhu.
Hey, Haribo, Maharaj Prabhu.
Haribol,
Nice to see
everyone.
you. Nice,
Haribol.
George. Dr.
Ecuador.
George. Ah, Chakri, nice to see you. After some, I saw you. I was in the like taking out the garbage one day, and I saw you walking past Perry on the main road there, and I was waving, but I couldn't yell loud enough for you to hear me.
Maharaj, did you say you want to start or you'll start later on?
I can sing the group Shri Guru Channa Padma.
Okay.
Is that what you want? Is that the song you or Jaya Nila Prema Dana?
Either one.
I think Chaitanya Chandra, maybe Jaya Nila Prema Dana is the better one for, and then the Guru Puja song. I'm waiting for you to tell me yes or no, Chaitanya Chandra.
Chaitanya Prabhu,
Chaitanya Chandra?
he's still getting into the mode of listening here. I think.
Maybe he can't. Maybe he can
No, he's
hear.
connecting. He's still connecting.
Oh
Maharaj.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. You may have to. Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu. Yeah, you may want to ask him now again, Maharaj. He's, I think.
I think Jaya Nila Prema Dana is better than Shri Guru Channa Padma for the first bhajan. Songs in separation of the
That
Vaishnava.
was planned, so that's going to take a while. It's so little time for offerings.
What's that, Chakri?
Hare Krishna.
Sounds good too.
Sounds
Did you
good.
say something, Chakri Prabhu?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so I'll just sing this song, Jaya Nila Prema Dana, go through the translation for my part of the program. And if my voice gives out, pray for me. Hope it'll come back. This says there's one chapter to make sure I'm not missing the chat. Lavanya, oh. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I think Dorka, you have to mute everybody's microphone except for mine.
Yes, Maharaj.
Otherwise, we may get some chorus of kids or
Yeah. One more. I'll
washing
go
of
ahead
the
and
pots.
mute all. And then I'll unmute you.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, Maharaj.
So welcome everyone to the Disappearance Day Festival of His Divine Grace, to the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And we'll begin and now make an attempt to sing some Parsada Bhagavat Viraha Janita Vipala, which is lamentation due to separation from the Lord and his associates from the Pranatana. Tell me if the cartels are too loud.
No, they're perfect, Maharaj.
Yeya Nilo Prema Dana Karuna Prachu Yeya Nilo Prema Dana Karuna Prachu Eno Prabhu Kotram Ela Sajatako Eno Prabhu Kotram Ela Sajatako Amora Sadhu Ahasanata Amora Sadhu Ahasanata Ahada Saragunata Pati Ahada Prabhupada Saragunata Patita Amora Bhatta Yuga Kavira Amora Bhatta Yuga Kavira Eka Kale Kota Gela Gorana Eka Kale Kota Gela Gorana Vasale Koti Bamata Anale Pasibo Vasale Koti Bamata Anale Pasibo Goranga Gunerani Di Kotagile Prabhu Oranga Gunerani Di Kotagile Prabhu Esaka Sangira Sanghe Koilo Ladila Sangira Sanghe Koilo Ladila Sangana Kaya Kande Sangha Sangena Kaya Jaya Nilo Prema Karuna Pato Jaya Nilo Prema Karuna Pato Ena Bravo Kota Ela Chakako Ena Bravo Kota Gela Chakako. So I'll read the translation for everyone. He who brought the treasure of divine love. I'd like to just like, for myself, I want to put my consciousness in thinking of Srila Prabhupada on his disappearance day and to see how this song actually relates to our condition and the fact that he came to the Western countries with the message of Lord Chaitanya at the behest of his own spiritual master, and how so many of us have been, how would you say it, protected and released from the, how do you say, the shackles of material energy to some extent by his causeless mercy. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Srinivasacharya gone? May I break this up just a little bit? I'll just say this. You can see here, Srila Prabhupada brought the treasure of divine love and was filled with compassion. We see that I've been reading all these different books devotees wrote on chasing rhinos, friend of all, whatever one, what was it, Blazing Sadhus, Yamuna's book, Vishaka's book, 5 years and 11 months. And how Srila Prabhupada was really, was so much compassion in his heart. And then here, where is my Sarup Damodar? Where is Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatana? Where is Raghunath, the savior of the fallen? just last night I was reading a little bit of Mukunda Maharaj's book, Miracle on 26th Avenue, and the condition. I always wonder why the first devotees that came to Krishna consciousness, it's just like Mukunda said that Prabhupada was in the Bowery in a loft, sharing a loft with this person that was 17 years old. And why would he'd been up in the uptown New York looking for what would you say, associates and or sadhus or guru. But here was Srila Prabhupada down in the Bowery, and he couldn't figure out how could somebody be down in the Bowery rather than uptown. He thought that they'd have to be, if somebody was real, they'd have to be where it was at. But here he was down in and he said he had to push two drunk people away to get to the door, to get up to the room where Prabhupada was at. And he had to walk holding the wall a lot because there was no lights even in the building to find the room where Prabhupada was at. And then he heard the cartels when he got close to the room. And so we can definitely make claim to the being saved, fallen enough to fall into that category. Where is my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? Where is Krishna Kaviraj gone? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, go? Just like I was reading that book by Achutananda, and he was saying, and the name of it is Blazing Sadhus, Don't Trust the Swami Who Can't Dance. And so Lord Srila Prabhupada came and he even taught us how to dance properly for the Lord with this, the official Swami step. And then all of a sudden, Srila Prabhupada was no longer with us. And so we have that separation. Verse number 4, I will smash my head against a rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? I like this stanza a lot. Was prominent for me whenever we sing this song because the separation one feels from Vaishnavas. We've been experiencing that more and more. My good friend Burjam Prabhu says that because now most of Srila Prabhupada's disciples are getting a little elderly, and he calls it the decade of tears is about to happen. The decade of tears where so many, I'm 68, will I make it to 78? Who knows how long we'll make it. And so the separate, Kalki's going like, Kalki, you making a comment? Oh, okay. I thought he was like thumbs up or something. But the idea is that the pain we felt from the disappearance of so many of Prabhupada's soldiers, the pain is less. The pain is greater than smashing our heads against rocks or putting ourselves into fire. And when we check that analogy, I can't imagine anything more painful than smashing my heads against rocks or jumping into a fire. That's practically the most painful thing I can imagine. And yet he will rather smash his head and rather enter into the thing because he can't find the shelter of Lord Gauranga. We can't find the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, who was the reservoir of all wonderful qualities. And this is what we see in Srila Prabhupada, a reservoir, an ocean of transcendental qualities that inspired us. I can't imagine, my case, I know I shouldn't speak of myself, but I just happened to come across one of Srila Prabhupada's books and opened it up, and it was the aha moment. And after that, it was just a matter of packing my bags and getting to a temple within a couple of months, just by reading Srila Prabhupada's books for a moment. So the wonderful quality, outstanding quality is how much time and effort Prabhupada put into producing his books and giving us this transcendental knowledge so that it would be carried on now 77, 87, 97, 2007, 2017. So we're like 40 years past and we're still feeling that inspiration. When we open Srila Prabhupada's books, we have his direct association in as much as I actually had. I only saw Srila Prabhupada in Mayapur during the festival, heard him give a few classes. Other than that, my only association was his disciples and his books. And so we still have that type of association available today. Text number, stanza number 5, being unable to attain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all these devotees whose association he performed his pastimes, Srila Narottam Das Thakur simply weeps. And so the same is true for us. We have this, especially on these days of disappearance. I just read something that His Holiness Giriraj sent out earlier today. See if I can find it. It's just here. He sent it out, and it was remembering that Srila Prabhupada said the appearance and the disappearance of the great souls. He says it's like the rising and setting of the sun. It's actually, both are beautiful. I can't remember what the word was. I can't find the exact because I have so many messages from him. I don't know what it was, but when the sun sets, it's beautiful, and when the sun rises, it's beautiful. So in every case, it's like that. It's like that for us and Srila Prabhupada's association. So I beg you all to keep me in your association and to help me understand my eternal relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Dwarka Prabhu, could you please invite Brahmatirtha now, because he has another engagement in 15 minutes to speak a little bit. Is that okay?
Yes, Maharaj.
Is that true,
Thank you for
Brahmatirtha? You
this.
have an engagement in 15 minutes, I think? Yes.
Yes, Maharaj. I think he's on now. We just have
Okay.
to unmute him.
I'll
And
unmute myself.
Yeah, about 30, I think it's 30 minutes. I'm not quite sure. I'm speaking in New York. And okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Before I speak, how is Nityananda Prabhu?
He is still not doing very, very well. And we are just keeping our fingers
I got a
crossed and
message
hoping
from I've been messaging his sons 3 times a day, rather than disturbing him, because it's difficult for him. And his sons last night said that last night he had a better night. There's 4 qualifications to get admitted with COVID. One of them is your oxygen has to be 89 or lower to get into the hospital. You have to have fever, you have to have cough, and you have to have discomfort not being able to be in a medical facility. He qualified for the last 3, but his blood oxygen was 92. So if he would have gone to the hospital, they wouldn't have accepted him until the oxygen goes lower. And so last night he stayed home under the protection, under the watch of the devotees, his sons and his wife. And his sons told me this morning that he had a better night last night, and he doesn't feel the need so much as he did yesterday to go to the hospital. And that's the current thing that I got this morning around 9 o'clock this morning.
I'm really glad to hear that. Okay, I just want to hear how he is and what he's doing. And if he really wants to get in the hospital, he just has to hold his breath for a few minutes. Okay, get the oxygen down, but I'm glad he's not in the hospital. Those who stay out of the hospital often do better. Okay, so let me offer respects to Prabhupada and Namo Vishnudaya Krishna Bhutale Shamati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste. Pashtata Disatadane. So Pashtata Disatadane. So Prabhupada had a mission to change the West. And how did Prabhupada want to do it? My experience being with Prabhupada is he had a very unusual brilliance and flexibility. Brilliance in that Prabhupada, like a good chess player, could see what the future is going to bring. And he was always a few chess moves ahead of anyone else. Flexibility is he understood the sacred principle of time, place, and circumstances, and how to adjust to the circumstances. So One of the last things, one of Prabhupada's last major projects that he pushed, you all know, was the Bhaktivedanta Institute, which I work with now. So I wanted to share with you the last adventure I had with Prabhupada. And the last adventure occurred in October 1977. Can I get screen sharing permission, please?
Sure, Prabhu.
Okay. So in October 1977, screen sharing didn't come yet. Okay. In October 1977, we had the first international conference on Life Comes from
You
Life
should have it now.
in Vrindavan. And at that conference, we had the 5 ISKCON scientists at the time. And there was Jnana, and then Sri Damodar, Brahmachari then, and myself, Madhava, and Sadaputa. And this picture was taken in the courtyard of the temple in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram. And the conference was held in the courtyard of the Gurukula. Now it's the former Gurukula. And Prabhupada had Srup Damodar, Brahmachari, then invite famous scientists to come. One very famous, he passed on a couple of years ago, Dr. Sudashan from the University of Texas came. And then some scientists from New Delhi and other places came. And then we had our 5 ISKCON scientists. And we present, you can see this is, this picture will prove that the changing body exhibit is valid. Yeah, you know, then I actually had hair then. But anyway, the conference was to discuss something that Prabhupada spent maybe in his last year on the planet more time on than almost any other subject, and that is life comes from life. He had his famous walks with Srup Damodar and a intense discussion, because Prabhupada saw in the chess game that the Western world has embraced science with all its glories and all its fallacies. Prabhupada said, when reaching out to the scientists, they have made many accomplishments. Therefore, they're going to be somewhat proud. So he said, so treat them with great respect because they've earned that pride, because look what they've done. Now, there's some discussion of boot in the face, and Prabhupada, when the scientists would make metaphysical claims that life comes from matter, that was the only boot in the face time. Even in Easy Journey to Other Planets, Prabhupada's first book, he praised the scientists, but talked about the pinprick. And what was a pinprick? Lack of philosophy, lack of metaphysics, that life can come from matter. So Prabhupada wanted us to deal with this. So we each gave papers on it. And every night, Prabhupada would call us into his room. He was way too ill to come to the conference. It was a month before he left us. He could hardly eat anything. His eyesight had become very weakened. Even in a dark room, he had to wear sunglasses because the light was painful. There was a beautiful bust of Prabhupada. So he said, take this bust of him and bring it to the conference. That way he'll be there in the form of his bust. And then he would ask us to come every night for our Sankirtan scores. Now, our Sankirtan scores were this: what were their arguments and what were our arguments. And Prabhupada wanted to hear what they argued and what we argued. And he wanted to hear it in some detail. One night we went into the room And Tamal Krishna Goswami was there, and he says to Prabhupada, "Your 5 scientists are here, Prabhupada." And Prabhupada couldn't see very well. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, and they're wearing their suits and ties. As you can see here in the picture, we're all in our ties. And Prabhupada said, "Get them chairs." Of course, in Vrindavan, there weren't that many chairs. At that point, we were a very young society, everyone under 30. So we're quite the floor society. Now you go to Vrindavan, the temple room, there's so many chairs for people like me who need them. The old knees aren't what they used to be. But we had one chair. So 2 of us sat on one chair, and the rest of us went like this. We just sat down pretending we were on chairs because Prabhupada couldn't see that well, and we just didn't know what to do. And so then Prabhupada asked, "What are your arguments? What are their arguments? What's being said?" And we were able to present, we told one story, which even Prabhupada found amazing. One scientist from Delhi who thought he'd get a Nobel Prize. I think the only prize he was going to get was the Ig Nobel Prize. That's the prize awarded for stupid research. They actually have something, a joke prize called the Ig Nobel. But anyway, he came in very proud, and the scientist said he was working with liquid crystals. Now, all of you have seen liquid crystals. It's a children's toy. You put on a mood ring and it changes color with your mood, or you press on it and it goes all these colors. And he thought liquid crystals, a little bit of energy gives such a change in output. So this will solve the information theory problem of evolution. Of course, Sariputta had presented in his monograph, which we published for the convention, for the Life Comes from Life workshop, a book on information theory demonstrating that kind of silly. So the professor goes on and he's giving his speech. And at the end, there's some dialogue with us and some challenges. And then there's question and answers from the audience. So various folks raise their hands and he calls on everyone, and except for one lady. And this one lady was, he wouldn't call on. Finally, she's the only hand left raised. So he has to call on her. So he calls on her. And she stands up, faces all of us and says, "My husband, who just gave that atheistic talk, I want you to know he goes to the temple all the time and prays." Only in India could such a thing happen. But Prabhupada was glad to hear that story. It was quite good. Now, I got another point is when I first walked in to see Prabhupada, I was fortunate to be on the same plane with Atreya Rishi, who was a GBC man by then. So then I was able to, on his coattails, go right into Prabhupada's room when we got there without so much protocol. And when we saw Prabhupada lying on his bed in his quarters in Vrindavan, we were both had this shocked look on our face because we all know the Prabhupada who you know the pictures, the Prabhupada on the Vyasasan or the Prabhupada we met, a very vigorous person. And there Prabhupada had become skin and bones. And of course, he hadn't eaten hardly anything in a long, long time. He had Bhakti Charu Swami and Tamal Krishna Maharaj taking care of him, and Aviramas taking care of his bodily needs. I mean, he had the most loving crew around him he could have, but he was quite disabled as far as he couldn't hardly sit up. And when we looked at him and with that shocked look on our face, Prabhupada then started laughing. And then we're even more, what's going on? Prabhupada's laughing. And he turns to Atreya and he says, "I've been telling you for millions of lifetimes that I'm not this body. Now my body is gone." He was making fun that his body was so emaciated. "My body is gone. I'm living just in my bones. Can you believe I'm not this body now?" And he said it with such fervor and such drama. and such a smile on his face. And so he used his debilitated position as an opportunity for presenting. And then other nights we'd go in the room. What would Prabhupada be doing? Up almost until his last breath, he was translating the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam and dictating with his assistants and Sanskrit assistants, and Jayadvaita Brahmachari then was there, and Nitai all helping him. And so some degree, Prabhupada at the end had become somewhat helpless. I mean, when Prabhupada began the movement, he was the one that cooked for everyone down at 26 Second Avenue. And then until the young boys that were coming then figured out they ought to help, he was the one that did the dishes after he fed them all. He scrubbed the pots, and then they figured out they ought to offer some seva. So now it's gone back where it's gone to the point where Prabhupada can hardly do anything on his own. And we wonder, as a devotee, what's going on here? You have this great pure devotee, and he's in what is externally a terrible suffering state. Can't hardly sit up, can hardly eat. And you wonder, what's going on? I mean, I admit myself, I wondered, Krishna, what's going on here? And then as I stayed there, it became very clear what was going on. This was Prabhupada's final Leela. And in Prabhupada's final Leela, he was forcing us, all of us, to dig deep into our hearts and realize that we are his servant. And he was letting us serve him in most intimate ways that we have never served him before. All his little personal bodily needs, everything. And he, in that state, everyone was there just in the mood of serving Prabhupada, and our love for him kept increasing and increasing. And then Prabhupada would say, one day, I think I'm going to leave. He said, and then he would say, and then Kirtananda and others would come, Prabhupada, you can't leave. Say, okay, I'll stay. And it was that Leela going on, I'm coming, I'm going, just increasing our love, layer after layer after layer of love increasing. And Prabhupada's helplessness was just a chance for us to engage in the most intimate service. Now, what was highly unusual about Prabhupada's departure from my point of view was how lucid Prabhupada was all the time, how he would joke about everything, and the bodily discomforts he would just tolerate. Because I didn't know a lot of death, but I'd seen some death, some relatives die, and I had worked while in college at a hospital and watching death. And you don't see death so dignified. You don't see death with someone so conscious. Now that we've reached, as Bourajan calls it, our decade of tears, where my generation is passing on, we're seeing a lot of devotees just dying in these great consciousness like Prabhupada did. It's an incredible scene to watch. So Prabhupada was teaching us how to live. And then in his final Leela, he was teaching us how to die. And my own personal service, of course, that time was a Bhaktivedanta Institute. So Prabhupada, in the final Leela, he was pushing us to say, we have to make this institute into something wonderful. So I'll share with you what we have now. The Bhaktivedanta Institute now has a new headquarters in Gainesville. This house was just donated to us. It used to be the president's mansion for the university. And in fact, that's why I had to be a little late. I had to meet one of our vendors there. And this will be the new headquarters for the BI, Bhaktivedanta Institute, dedicated entirely to Srila Prabhupada's mission of life comes from life. And with that, I will stop here. It's a huge honor for me to be speaking in Dallas. I just want to say there was nobody in my own experience that Prabhupada trusted more than Tamal Krishna Maharaj for matters of management. He had his personal servants, and he had Shruti Kirti, who was so loving, but as Prabhupada said, no fun because he wouldn't argue with Prabhupada. And Hari Sari, who was very meticulous and smart in his detail, and our late beloved Bhakti Swami, who even though he was a latecomer, immediately entered Prabhupada's most inner circle. And we have so many of our heroes, but there was no one, absolutely no one, who Prabhupada trusted more with revealing his mind on where the movement would go and how to deal with problems of the movement, and our beloved Tamal Krishna Goswami. And in the last pastimes with Prabhupada that I witnessed, that I wasn't there for Prabhupada's departure, but the month before for the BI conference, I again witnessed that intense trust Prabhupada had in Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and the intense love that Tamal Krishna, just all he wanted to do was what Prabhupada wanted. So the lesson to me in all this is the inspiration is for us to do what Prabhupada wants us to do. And each of us has our own particular seva. Those who are initiated by Prabhupada have a relation of Diksha and Shiksha. Those who are not have the relation of Shiksha. And as we all know, Diksha, Shiksha, there's not a whole lot of difference. I find many of the second generation devotees, in some sense, have a deeper connection to Prabhupada because they don't take things for granted very much. They work harder to understand Prabhupada. And with that, I'll stop here. Thank you very much. It's such a privilege to be in Dallas. I wish I could be there in person, and at some point in time soon, that will happen again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, thank you very much. It was wonderful memories. It's just you took us back to 1977 and earlier. That was amazing. That was very nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now, Chakri Prabhu, you want to, because you got service at the temple, do you want to go ahead now, or shall I ask Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu to talk, and then you can go after that, as you
I
prefer?
can speak now.
You could speak now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay then.
Thank you very much. Imam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pacharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschachari Satarine. So today on Srila Prabhupada's Disappearance Day, we would like to glorify his qualities and his attributes. So I was thinking, Srila Prabhupada's presence, his contribution, his influence was all-encompassing. So I explain what I mean by that. Srila Prabhupada went to all places on this planet, and then he spoke to everyone and anyone he spoke to. And he knew everything about spiritual life. His knowledge of spiritual life was complete. And he gave everything to us to fully, he gave all he had to give to us to fully understand Krishna and the absolute truth. So explaining further, Prabhupada went to all places, everywhere on this planet. I believe it said that he went around the globe 7 times. So he went to so many different places. I just was listening the other day. He was in Hamburg, and then before that he was in LA and went to South Africa, Mauritius, every country, every continent, everywhere Prabhupada went. And when he couldn't go, he sent his disciples to go there. Like he sent Tamal Krishna Maharaj to go to China. And Prabhupada himself went to Russia, which was unheard of at that time. And so many other devotees went to Muslim countries, which was very difficult, and even behind the Iron Curtain. So Prabhupada went to all places, and then he spoke to everyone and anyone. He could speak to anyone. Um, the other day, I heard he was speaking to a Sanskrit scholar in Paris. So I thought, well, let's see how it goes. Let's see if this Sanskrit, not a Sanskrit scholar, was a Sanskrit professor in Paris. So I thought, well, maybe this professor is going to argue with him. So immediately, Prabhupada didn't spare any words. He just started presenting our conclusion. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the Vedas are meant to worship him, and just presenting our philosophy. And then the professor spoke and he said, yes, you're right. So Prabhupada, he could speak to anyone, doctors, lawyers, ministers, mayors, heads of state, anyone and everyone Prabhupada spoke to. And he gave everyone the conclusion of our philosophy, and no one could defeat him. And then the other thing I mentioned was that Prabhupada had all spiritual knowledge. When he was giving his lectures, when he was preaching, he could immediately call upon any verse that he wanted to speak about. Very rarely did he forget a verse. Very rarely you would hear him say, "Oh, just now I'm forgetting," but that was very rare. But on almost every occasion, he would just pull up and speak the appropriate verse that would exemplify what he was speaking about. So his knowledge of the Vedic literatures, of our philosophy, was all encompassing. And then also, he gave us everything we needed to know to go back to Godhead, everything. The complete process, the chanting, the deity worship, prasadam. He gave us everything that we needed to become Krishna conscious. So so that's why Prabhupada, I said, was all encompassing. He had everything he needed to deliver all of us. So how is that possible? How could Prabhupada do everything like this? Well, it's stated that the spiritual master is a sum total of all the demigods. So Prabhupada was like that. He was a sum total of all the demigods. And he was also empowered by Krishna. He stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita that only one who's empowered by Krishna can preach this Krishna consciousness all over the world and deliver the whole world. So that's why now we describe Srila Prabhupada as Shakti Avesh Avatar. He was empowered by Krishna, and that's how he could have this attribute of being able to do everything, being able to do all things. So, and that's why we proclaim him as Jagat Guru, or spiritual master of the universe, because he was the sum total of all the demigods. So, yeah, I just wanted to relate one thing I heard Prabhupada say just the other day, and it explains his mission and what he wanted for us. So Prabhupada said, in Vedic civilization, everyone should be happy. That is the goal of Vedic civilization. Everyone be happy. So in this lifetime, if you take it serious, you can be Krishna conscious in this lifetime. If one chants simply Hare Krishna, one is sure to become perfect. There's no doubt about it. Simply to chant this mantra, Hare Krishna. Try to induce people to chant Hare Krishna. They will be happy. Real thing will be delivered. That is a fact. Such a simple method, such a sublime gain. No loss. Gain is very great. You should not lose the opportunity. Just continue chanting, be sure. We don't say stop work, just chant. Just chant Hare Krishna. We don't say stop your business, stop your occupation. You remain, but be Krishna conscious and chant Hare Krishna. Think of Krishna, take Krishna Prasad. Everything is there. See, Prabhupada is saying himself, everything is there. And be happy. That is our propaganda. You learn yourself and preach this cult. People will be happy. Simple method. So this is what Prabhupada wanted. He wanted us to take this process, be happy. He says it so many times, be happy, and give it to other people, make other people happy also. So on this occasion of his disappearance day, I'm praying to Srila Prabhupada that somehow or other by his mercy, I can attain to that goal that he wanted for all of us, that Krishna consciousness. I pray that even though I'm not qualified, it's confirmed. Even though I'm not qualified, that somehow I can achieve what he wanted for us, that goal that he wanted for us. And in that way, then maybe I can be qualified to distribute that wonderful gift to other people. So that is my prayer to Prabhupada on this day. So thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Chakri Prabhu. It was very nice. One thing you said was about Srila Prabhupada being the sum total of all demigods. That is stuck into my mind now, and it's amazing. That is a good quote. Remember that. Thank you. Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, are you going to be speaking now, or you going to do your offering, Prabhuji? You can mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't realize I had control of it. I was not too familiar with this. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Padaya Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dhamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurupani Krishna Panchakalpa Trivishcha Kripa Sindhu Vivacha Pritan Pavani Vaishnavi Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, please, everyone, forgive me for my offenses. I had to take a step out for a few minutes to feed Neela her medicine and stuff. Of course, on the disappearance day of Prabhupada, I was thinking about how much worse this planet has gotten since his disappearance. It was so much different then in a lot of different ways, and now it's so much worse. But what I was thinking was when the first time I got to see Srila Prabhupada, the first day I got to see Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles, it was the first time they had opened the temple room that they're using now in Los Angeles. Previously, there was a temple room behind where the Fate Museum is. And it was the first time Srila Prabhupada had actually walked into that temple room. So it was lots and lots and hundreds of devotees there and wonderful kirtans. And I was just brand new. I would just join like 2 weeks before that. And actually, it was before I even joined. That was like my joining day. I'd visited a temple for 3 days in San Francisco with a devotee that made me a devotee named Keshava Das, Purandar's brother. And so I got to go to the airport and just watch because I didn't know what was going on. And then at the temple, Prabhupada gave this wonderful address. You may remember where he says, kindly help me to publish in as many languages as possible and distribute as many books as possible all over the world. I happened to be there for that arrival address. And one of the things that Prabhupada said there that struck me was, because I just listened to it again just recently, was that it is not difficult to spread Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada said. He said, Krishna consciousness has already been established by the previous acharyas. We don't have to change anything. It's very simple. We just follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. And to me, that really hit home a lot, because it's so easy to try and sometimes think outside the box, but sometimes we go a little bit further than that and kind of possibly lose the concentration of what Prabhupada gave us, what the previous acharyas have given. So he stuck. He said, I have no personal qualification, but I've simply tried to satisfy my spiritual master. And looking at the quality of his service to his spiritual master, and how blessed all of his activities, thoughts, and everything he did, and was so empowered and blessed by Krishna, that it seems to me that we also need to stick to the simple things that Prabhupada did, that he showed us. And so the prayer that we sing every day, Samsara Dava Nalalita Loka Tranaya Karunya Ganaganatyam Pratashakalyana Gunarnavasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. So the spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy, and as a cloud pours water on a forest fire to extinguish it, he extinguishes the blazing fire of material existence. So the way I'm seeing this song is that Srila Prabhupada did that, and then it lists how he did it. The next verse is Mahaprabhu Kirtanya Nritya Gita. So through the process of kirtan, hearing and chanting about Krishna Kirtan, Prabhupada went to Tompkins Square Park, sat underneath a tree, and didn't even have the instruments he would normally have. He had kartals, but then he got some bongo and different things. And he attracted so many people. So then the kirtan is what attracted so many people. So I'm reflecting on the effect of this in the little bit of preaching work that somehow Krishna's arranged for me to do in El Paso. That we'd been going there for like 11 years almost now. And now we have a nice congregation and a preaching center. And just a few weeks ago, well, it was a few months ago now. Sorry, this COVID thing has made me lose track of time. Kind of in the beginning of COVID, the devotees there were having a kirtan at a park, a really sweet park called Memorial Park. And somebody was walking by and heard the kirtan. And that gave them the inspiration to come to the center. Now they're participating in all the activities of the temple there. The kirtan is so powerful that it can attract instantly, which it did with this one individual, and attract so many people and purify us. Mahaprabhu Kirtanya Nitya Gita Varitramadya. And of course, Srila Prabhupada was experiencing the ecstasy of love of Godhead on the highest platforms. And that purity penetrated our hearts and purified us and attracted us also. The next one, the Shri Vigrahara Dhana Nityananda, the worship of the deity in the temple. So somehow or other, we were able to get these huge Lord Jagannath deities, not huge, but like maybe 2 feet, deities from Advaita Acharya down in San Antonio before he moved to Utah. And then they were renovated. But before that, we brought them to El Paso so the devotees there could learn how to do service to the uninstalled deities, kind of because we do home programs there. It's a home program. So my idea was, I'm not going to install the deities. I'm just going to let the devotees learn how to worship the uninstalled deities like as if they're in their home. And now the devotees are making outfits, they're making garlands, they're cooking really amazing prasadam, which is the next one that Srila Prabhupada gave us, Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasada, Sadhana Triptan, Hari Bhakta Sangan, Kritraiva Triptan, Bhajato Sadaiva Vande Guru Shri Charanaravinda. So now they're making offerings. It seems that Lord Jagannath, from what I can see, what I can feel and see in all the devotees there, and when he was here in Dallas a few weeks ago, that he's somehow inspiring everybody to cook for him. It's an amazing kind of thing that's going on. And so they're having these amazing feasts, which are like the feasts of the old days. We don't do like Ekadasi feasts on Janmashtami and all that. We do regular grain feasts with everything. So everybody cooks and we bring it all, and it's just fantastic. So I kind of gave the place a new name, New Nilachala, there in El Paso. So you can Google that and see some of their entries and stuff, and some of the pictures of the prasadam that they post online. So Srila Prabhupada gave us, and then the prasadam is very important, and the deity worship is so important. And so it brings everybody together. And that even in El Paso, they're just young devotees, but they love coming there to the temple. They love cooking for Lord Jagannath, even though they're not Brahmins, but there's no one else to cook. So I ask everybody to cook, pure vegetarian food, and, all the vegetarians, and then they bring it all as an offering to Lord Jagannath. They're all vegetarian people cooking, and devotees, young devotees. So I was just seeing how Srila Prabhupada's potency of doing these simple things, worshiping the Lord in the form of the deity, meditating on him, making offerings to him, and then distributing prasadam, and then distributing books. We get lots of nice book. We do some book distribution there a little bit. And last month, the month of Purushottam, somebody sponsored 20 sets of Srimad Bhagavatams to distribute to the devotees, and that we gave for free to the devotees. He wanted to distribute them, so he got of course, the benefit of distributing the books. He sponsored 20 sets of books, 4 sets of Spanish Bhagavatams, and the balance was in English. So Prabhupada's activities that he wanted us to do are all blessed. As soon as we do them, we get connected to that blessing, to those blessings, and our activities, and those activities are always successful. They're never not successful. They're always successful. So our life's goal is just simply to become connected to Prabhupada's instructions and Prabhupada's, preaching activities that he gave us, and to distribute those to other people. That's the Dharma for the age of Kali, according to Lord Chaitanya, that to spread Krishna consciousness is the Dharma and that's what Prabhupada told us. Otherwise, we wouldn't know anything. Prabhupada engages in spreading the Dharma of book distribution and prasadam distribution, and it still works, even to a place like where there was pretty much hardly any devotees at all. Maybe one initiated person was in El Paso, and there was a few others. And now we have, 50 or 40 or 50 different people that come regularly to the temple. And so it works. Prabhupada's formula works. He said, don't change what the acharyas have given. He didn't change anything. He's very consistent in his teachings and everything. All the lectures that he gives, and the morning walks, and the conversations that he has, that are all available for everyone to hear, are always very consistent. So I wanted to thank Srila Prabhupada just for giving us Krishna consciousness, obviously, and hopefully someday I can take it up to please him even more. But whatever level we're on, it doesn't matter. Prabhupada when huh, when Vishnu John Swami in 1976 asked Srila Prabhupada, he was having some kind of problem with in his sannyasa ashram, and they were on a walk with Prabhupada. He came up to Prabhupada and asked him, said, Srila Prabhupada, there's a pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita about Chota Haridas, and Lord Chaitanya, he was charged with having some association with a woman, and he committed suicide. So Vishnu John Swami asked Prabhupada if that was how we should deal with a fall down in the sannyas ashram, is to commit suicide. And of course, he's quoting the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Prabhupada said yes. And Vishnu John Maharaj, that Prabhupada said a few words, and Vishnu John Maharaj dropped to the back. He didn't hear the rest of the answer. And Prabhupada said, yes, but who would preach if all of you committed suicide because you had some problem? And I was like, wow, Prabhupada really knew that Kali Yuga is so difficult, and so difficult in the West, and that despite the fact that that we have so many flaws and difficulties, still, if we make some attempt to give Krishna consciousness, Krishna still facilitates and wants us to continue on. There's no way he'd want us to stop. Because if one person can hear about Krishna from someone or get a book from someone, there's so much benefit there. And Prabhupada knew that. And Krishna arranges it. It's just amazing. This is one last thing that I'm stopping. Usually when I go to El Paso and back and forth, I bring books with me to give to people at the gas stations. And this time during COVID, I kind of felt self-conscious about giving a gift or whatever. So I didn't bring in, the last time I went to the gas station, I didn't bring a book with me. But I have this Jagannath hat on, right? So I walk up to the counter to pay for my gas. And this young man, like mid-20s, or maybe he's 22 or 3 or something. He goes, oh, wow. He goes, what's that on your hat? He goes, tell me what that is. I'm like, wow, Krishna, even I space out and didn't bring a book in, he wants me to give a book to this person and talk to him about Krishna. So obviously it started a whole conversation. It was really slow. It was late at night. So I got to speak to the young man for quite some time and gave him some books. And I was like, wow, it's just, this is such a blessed activity. Spreading Krishna consciousness is such a blessed activity. And Prabhupada's given us that facility. And he experienced it like anything, obviously. He was like reading about and hearing about the devotees who were with him and how he pushed himself to preach. I've told this story millions of times, but in Mexico City, when Chitsukananda first opened the temple, Prabhupada came there 1 year and 1 day afterwards. And on the first day that he was there, he had 3 different preaching engagements, and it was 10:30 at night. And Prabhupada asked Chitsukananda, I said, well, is there any other preaching activity? Is there any other preaching engagement? And Chitsukananda was like, yes, there is. There's this famous TV talk show by this very famous man who's had this, he's like the Johnny Carson of Mexico City. And for all of us old people that know who Johnny Carson was. Anyway, so Prabhupada said, oh, and Chitsukananda said, yes, we can go there. And Prabhupada said, well, how many people watched the broadcast? And Chitsukananda said, millions. And Prabhupada said, let's go. And he said, well, Prabhupada, aren't you tired? Don't you want to sleep? He goes, we'll sleep tomorrow. Preach now. So they went there to this place, and they had to go upstairs. And I don't remember the girl's name is Gandharvika or something. I forget her name. Maybe it's Gandharvika. She was a high society call girl in Mexico City, and she became a devotee. And she was on the platform waiting for Prabhupada to come up. When Prabhupada came up, and as happened to a lot of, in lots of circumstances, when people got close to Prabhupada, they would like, tears would come out of their eyes and they would fall on the ground and start crying. So she did that. And that happened all over Mexico when Prabhupada went. And Prabhupada said to Chit, he turned, kept walking up the stairs with Chit and said, she must be initiated. And then she's still a wonderful devotee. And then he went there and did the program. And the man was this powerful speaker. I mean, he's like I say, he was like the Johnny Carson. He was no lightweight. He was like, you know, millions and millions of people watched his show. And he just let Prabhupada take the floor, and they had a kirtan, and Prabhupada spoke and everything. And then finally the program ended, and Chit took Prabhupada down to the car and ran up to thank the man for allowing us to come to the program. The man was sitting with his hands, like his hands in his face in his hands, and he was crying. And Chit came in, and the man said, you know, I've never met anybody like your spiritual master before. He was so moved by the Prabhupada's spiritual potency, by the internal potency. And then later, that man, he was a super wealthy guy, right? He would always come to the temple and bring food and bring gifts and do all kinds of service because Prabhupada influenced him. So Prabhupada's personal influence was so wonderful. What he gave us was from the previous acharyas. He didn't change anything. We don't have to change anything. We have to just give what Prabhupada asked us to do. Prabhupada pushed us to distribute books and preach Krishna consciousness, worship the deity, take prasadam. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was very nice. You're a prime example of how meeting Prabhupada, even for a moment, either personally, face to face, or even through his books, can spark such a big event, and he has such a big place in El Paso and other places. So everyone should just take that inspiration from you and from Srila Prabhupada as well, from the books.
Yeah, from Prabhupada, because Prabhupada's, I mean, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, we're in El Reno, Oklahoma. We used to do a program at a prison. Maternath, you went sometimes, right? Arjun, a whole bunch of us from here used to go. And at one point, I was kind of overseeing it, and for some short time. And Gurudev came there. Tamal Krishna Maharaj came to the program, did the program, and he did an initiation in the prison. And he couldn't do a fire sacrifice in the chapel because they wouldn't allow it. So he went out to the Indian sweat lodge and asked the Indians if they could do an initiation in their sweat lodge. So he initiated 2 people. That was pretty historic for Texas and Oklahoma for sure. But then when we went to the airport, I took him to the airport. He flew back to Dallas, but we're sitting there on the concourse waiting to get on the flight. And he told me that Srila Prabhupada told him that we must always push ourselves to preach. So that kind of has been my mantra that I try not to forget. Sometimes I forget. I'm in Maya, I have more than 90% of my life. But trying to push to preach how Prabhupada did. Prabhupada pushed. He was like, it was 10:30 at night, and there was this opportunity to go preach to millions of people. And Prabhupada had already preached all day and flown there from LA or somewhere. So he already had an exhausting day. I would have thought, but then no, he goes on, and I don't know what time they got back that morning, but Prabhupada pushed, and he asked everybody to push. So whatever bit we can push to do something for Krishna, and according to how Prabhupada wanted, it'll be successful. It just has to be, because it's Krishna's desire, and he makes it happen. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Kalki Prabhu, are you ready for doing your?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I can speak now.
Thank you.
All right. very inspiring hearing everybody speaking about Srila Prabhupada and sharing their insights and their opportunities to associate with Srila Prabhupada. I'd like to share a few thoughts I have about associating with Prabhupada. Can you turn that down? And I probably won't say anything that you haven't heard before, but there's some thoughts that I have that, have helped me make some effort to progress over the years in Krishna consciousness, trying to serve Prabhupada's mission. So I'll offer my obeisances to Prabhupada and then read a few things and comment on that. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksharum Novitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Budale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pacharne Nirvishesha Sunivadi Paschatyade Satarne. So this is a letter that Prabhupada wrote, or this is not a letter, but this is a part of an offering that Prabhupada wrote. Although according to material vision, His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada passed away from this material world in the last day of December 1936. Can you turn the volume here? Just 1 second, please. Let's turn the volume down. I'm sorry. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada passed away from this material world on the last day of December 1936. I still consider His Divine Grace to be always present with me by His Vani, His words. There are two ways of association, by Vani and by Vapu. Vani means words, and Vapu means physical presence. Physical presence is sometimes appreciable and sometimes not, but Vani continues to exist eternally. Therefore, we must take advantage of the Vani, not the physical presence. Bhagavad Gita, for example, is the Vani of Lord Krishna. Although Krishna was personally present 5,000 years ago and is no longer physically present from the materialistic point of view, Bhagavad Gita continues. So like Ratatvaja Maharaj was saying earlier, I similarly never had a lot of personal association with Prabhupada. I associated with Prabhupada in Mayapur, in classes, some darshans, and at different times in America, some morning walks and classes, of course, but not like many devotees who had a lot of intimate personal association with Srila Prabhupada. And as all of you are familiar, at least most of you, all of you from here in Dallas, who are initiated by Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he was a very intimate associate of Prabhupada. So I've always felt my connection with Prabhupada is through his Vani. And by the mercy of Prabhupada and Krishna, my service is, for the most part of my life, was connected with distributing Prabhupada's books. And one thing I learned very early as a devotee, that if you want to distribute Prabhupada's books, you have to read Prabhupada's books. And that really, helped me understand and appreciate the value of associating with Prabhupada's Vani. I had the opportunity to associate with some senior Prabhupada disciples, Tripurari Maharaj in particular, who were senior book distributors as well. And they helped me gain this understanding and appreciation for Prabhupada's books, not only to distribute them, but to read them and to read them properly. So that I would like to share the importance of associating with Prabhupada's Vani. Prabhupada also felt that his instructions were going to be there for all of us. And it was really the only opportunity for most of us to associate with Prabhupada. Prabhupada stayed up all night long while we slept, writing his purports in order to give us that Vani association. Some thoughts I had in that regard was that the value of Vani is also not only there in associating with Prabhupada, but in associating with the other devotees. And by that, for myself, I value and enjoy the association of the other devotees while we're associating, or let us say, in the association of Prabhupada's Vani. To read together, to share our realizations that we get from hearing from Prabhupada. And through that, it helps me develop a real appreciation for the devotees and their Krishna consciousness, and to value their association. At one time, in the early days of my pursuit of Krishna consciousness in this life, I realized that from a material point of view, many devotees I probably wouldn't really associate much with outside of Krishna consciousness, which is really based just on our conditioned nature. But within Krishna consciousness, those same people I had some genuine appreciation for, beyond their nature, that I found was something that I probably wouldn't associate with, just materially speaking. So that associating with their Krishna consciousness helped me really to develop an appreciation for them. Something else I'd like to share, some perspectives I've developed in my own endeavor to try to appreciate the devotees and to take up Prabhupada's desire that we spread this movement and push on Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, and to cooperate together to do that. And I've realized that the only way that I can take seriously my participation is if I don't take an offense from somebody, or what I perceive to be. Let me say, I don't get offended. Even though sometimes somebody is not being offensive, still I can get offended due to my own conditioned nature. And of course, we know nobody wants to be offensive. And the real problem for me was taking offense. So I thought about this because when I had that mentality, I didn't want to associate, with that devotee. And in the course of just contemplating and trying to, understand that nature, I was reading Bhagavatam in the first canto, and I began to realize Maharaj Parikshit, he was traveling and he came to an ashram, and the yogi was in meditation, and he didn't greet Maharaj Parikshit, and he became offended, Maharaj Parikshit. And so he took a dead snake and wrapped it around the yogi's neck. Later, when the yogi's son heard what he had done, he cursed him to die in 7 days. And after hearing about the curse, Maharaj Parikshit decided, okay, I'll just accept the curse. And Prabhupada says that he was so powerful that he could have counteracted the curse. But Maharaj Parikshit just accepted the curse, and he didn't react to Sringi's unnecessary cursing of him. And as a result, in a way, he became qualified to hear Srimad Bhagavatam because he wasn't taking offense. He gave it up. And he just wanted to inquire, all right, what is the best thing for, what should I do? What is the best thing for all people in all times? And that was his first question to Sukadeva Goswami. Another example is when Arjuna was with Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and he put forward all these different arguments why he didn't want to fight. And basically, the fight was there because people were offending and getting offended, and because of so many material circumstances. So Arjuna decided, well, I don't want to fight, and for so many reasons. But Krishna encouraged him to fight. So when Arjuna, his reasoning was, I do not want to fight, even though these people have offended me. Forget it, I'm not going to fight. So by adopting that mentality of not reacting or to giving up his reaction to their offenses or what he perceived to be their offenses, of course, we know that they were offenses, but sometimes we get offended even though there is no offense. But because he decided, okay, forget about being offended, I'm not going to continue on in this way. So in that way, then he surrendered to Krishna. Oh, all right, I don't know what to do. Tell me what to do now. And again, he became qualified to hear Bhagavad Gita from Krishna because of that, surrendering to Krishna and giving up his own attachments. So this is relevant in the sense that if we want to push on the movement, and Prabhupada has instructed us that we need to work cooperatively amongst ourselves, in small groups as well as society at large, in order to distribute Krishna consciousness. Again, so we need to get beyond taking offense for the sake of serving Prabhupada and becoming Krishna conscious. The main point I would like to emphasize again is that our associating with Prabhupada is there in his Vani and his instructions. His instructions are there in his books. His personal association is there. And his instruction is for us to share his association, sharing the knowledge of Krishna consciousness and the process of Krishna consciousness. And in order for us to become effective in doing that, we have to apply that. We have to very systematically take advantage of Prabhupada's association by seriously and regularly, according to Prabhupada, to read and study his books in association with devotees. And we have to actively share what we're getting from that. We have to share the books, we have to share our realizations, we have to preach Krishna consciousness or share Krishna consciousness. And that, but I had a phone call and it's all connected, your iPad and your telephone. So anyway, when we read, we become qualified to distribute. And we become enthusiastic to distribute. And when we distribute, we become enthusiastic to read. So the first two processes of devotional service are hearing and chanting. And they go together, and they help us to engage in all of the other service. So that's basically my appreciation for Prabhupada is how much is my access to Prabhupada is through his Vani, his instructions, and I'd like to encourage everyone to seriously take advantage of really reading and studying Prabhupada's books. I was talking with Keshava Bharti Maharaj one day, and he was telling me how they did a survey and how many, I forget what the percentage was, but it was more than 50% of the devotees have not read from the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita from beginning to end systematically. So it is something we should think about. If we haven't done it, then we should take it seriously to do that, to really take advantage of associating with Prabhupada, if that's our desire. So I'll quit there. Again, I'm not probably saying anything you haven't heard, and I'm just, sharing, my perspective on associating with Prabhupada, my experiences in associating with Prabhupada. And if I've said something wrong, then please let me know, because I'd be happy to, correct my perspective. So I'll stop there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Association with devotees ki jai. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Kanki Prabhu ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. We can't take offense, right? So you said anything mistake, we should take, so we can't take offense. It was very nice to hear from you how the realization of how you realized Maharaja Parikshit's realization of not taking offense and then applying that. We have to learn a lot from, at least I have to learn. I don't
If
know
we
what
take
others, I have to
offense,
learn a lot from you on this.
but the way I remember it is, if I take offense, I become offensive. And when we think about it, we see every time you get offended, then you're like, well, why that person? Oh, you just become offended. What is the value? And actually, one quick comment. Well, Maharaj Parikshit came upon Dharma, the bull, and Bhumi, Mother Bhumi, and he's seen him with only one leg, and he goes, who has done this? And he says that an intelligent person doesn't see the instrument of one's suffering as the cause of one's suffering. And Prabhupada explains there in the purport that one who identifies the instrument as the cause of one's suffering shares in the karma that one who accepts being the instrument gets. So I can accept to be an instrument in someone's suffering, and I get the karma for accepting that and engaging in that activity.
Mhm.
But whether I do it or someone else does it, the person is going to suffer anyway. But the point is that we don't identify the instrument as the cause of our suffering. So we should never get offended because they're just instrumental.
Right. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Very well.
Thank you.
While we are waiting for Yurad Maharaj to come, would anyone else want to make an offering? Sucharya Mataji, is your throat okay? You able to speak today? Is Sucharya Mataji on? Thought she was on earlier. Would anyone else like to make an offering today? Mathranath Prabhu? Not to put you on the spotlight, but just asking. You're on mute, Prabhu.
Yeah, I think we can go to Giraj Maharaj now, give him time to speak.
Is he on? I didn't see him on my screen here. I didn't see Maharaj. Yeah, Prabhuji.
Well, I was very fortunate that by the grace of Jivananda Prabhu that I actually went to the first Rath Yatra in New York, and actually got to see Srila Prabhupada and actually hear him give a couple of classes. And I remember that I was brand new, and I remember that when we were waiting for Srila Prabhupada to come down from the elevator, and people were lined up, all the way up to the temple room on both sides. And so I'd heard that Prabhupada's feet don't touch the ground. I was told that. So when he came out, everybody offered their obeisances. And so I offered my obeisances. And then when I looked up, Prabhupada was right in front of me. And I looked at his feet, and sure enough, it was like he was just floating across there. I said, wow, it's true. His feet don't touch the ground. And so anyway, I just felt like I was just so fortunate to be able to actually see him. I was kind of thinking as compared to like, I grew up as a Southern Baptist. So I was thinking that if I was a Christian and I saw Jesus, I would be so amazed to tell people I actually saw Jesus. And that it's the same way with Srila Prabhupada, to just be able to be, in his presence. After that, when I came back, even my wife said right away, "You've changed. I was not the same person after that, because I was just, I don't know, just being in Prabhupada's presence just changed me. I gave up intoxication. I started actually chanting, and just actually being able to see him. And to this day, when you see Srila Prabhupada do anything, like you could sit and watch Srila Prabhupada eat for an hour or so, because everything he does is so swan-like, so aristocratic. Just to see him walk and the way he holds himself, everything about him is just so amazing. So just like seeing Srila Prabhupada giving a class, or like I said, taking prasadam, you're just amazed at watching him, and you can sit and watch him for hours. So anyway, I just, like someone else said, where would we be today if Prabhupada hadn't got on that Jaladuta and come to the United States? Where would we all be without him doing that? So it's a debt that we can never repay, but we can sure try to follow his instructions and I'm just so thankful also that my Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, was, such a wonderful disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and that I was able to become his disciple. So anyway, I just want to thank Srila Prabhupada so much, and all of his senior devotees that have carried on this movement since Prabhupada left. So thank you so much, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone else would like to share their experience or speak before, until we get Maharaj online?
Dorka Prabhu, I think there's something you wanted to read.
Okay, so maybe we could do that. I was going through some conversations that Srila Prabhupada was having back in Bombay in April 1977, that time period. And there was one which I thought was interesting to me, but I'm not sure whether about everyone else. This is a conversation he was having in a room with Gurudev and His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj. So I'll read, and it was about meeting the Prime Minister. So I'll just give that as a background for you. And so I will start in, it's the chapter has got various other things here, but I'll start where he's talking about meeting the Prime Minister. So Giriraj Maharaj is saying, well, the reason I came up is I'm going to try to phone Mr. Rajda now. Prabhupada says, Giriraj Maharaj says, going to try to phone Mr. Rajda, and considering that the Prime Minister may not have that much time, we had discussed that he should come here to meet you. But suppose if we fix up, say a minimum time, if he can't come here, say at least a half hour undisturbed, something like that, is it possible to fix in the city, or we should just insist that Prabhupada says, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Gurudev, he's telling Prabhupada now, he's suggesting that if the Prime Minister can't give that much time, whether you would go to see him. Actually, if you give the idea that Prabhupada wants to see him in the morning hours, and then he veers off that way. Giriraj Maharaj says, yeah, I'm going to. Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, I mean, if he says that that's not possible, Prabhupada immediately interjects. He says, that is not respectful. Giriraj Maharaj says, no. Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, not at all respectful. Prabhupada then says, then he does not know how to honor a saintly person. It is useless to meet him. Meet him meaning meet the Prime Minister. If he has no respect for saintly person, if he thinks greater than saintly person, then he's useless. Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, then nothing will come of it anyway. And if we give this opportunity that he come in the morning, Prabhupada says, no. Apart from that, if he has got that sense that I am a very big man, so everyone should come here, he's useless. We cannot do anything with him. Giriraj Maharaj says, that's what I thought. Prabhupada says, very beginning is, Giriraj Maharaj says, he is on the wrong foot. Tamal Krishna Maharaj then says, no, he has come to see you, Srila Prabhupada. Oh, there's so many examples in the Shastra of great personalities. Even Prabhupada then said, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu refused to see what to speak of going there. Giriraj says, I agree with you. And Prabhupada says, even big kings, Akbar, Man Singh, they used to come to see Rupa Goswami. Giriraj Maharaj says then, No, I agree with you completely. Prabhupada, did he demand like that? Giraj Maharaj says, no. When I spoke to Mr. Rajda, I said that the Prime Minister should come here. And Mr. Rajda agreed. But just now, when I just spoke to Gopala, that is Gopal Krishna Maharaj, now, I was on my way to make the call. So he said that I should just ask you about this. Prabhupada says, Giraj Maharaj says, I was just going to phone and I mentioned to Gopal Krishna Prabhu that I was going to make this call. So I said that, the Prime Minister was going to come here. So I said that I also in the call, I wanted to make that very clear so there is no mistake. And he said that, well, he might be too busy to come here. And that this is Mr. Rajdas telling Giriraj Maharaj, saying that he might be too busy to come here. Prabhupada was asking, Gopal said that? Giriraj Maharaj said, yeah. So I thought it would be better just to ask. No, Prabhupada then says, no, there is no question of. Giriraj Maharaj says, yeah, no, I agree completely. I mean, you are millions and billions of times greater than anyone. So there's no question. Prabhupada says, no, apart from that, if one has no proper respect for a saintly person, he is a useless man. You cannot have any benefit, or neither he can derive any benefit. Giriraj Maharaj says, yeah. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, yeah, from all sides. Giriraj Maharaj then continues and says, because he'll think he has nothing to learn, that he is already in the best position. Prabhupada continues and he says, and we don't require anything from them, but for the whole human society's welfare, we can suggest him do like this. That is but we don't require anything from them. That is anything from the kingly persons or the Prime Minister. Giriraj then says, I know that. This is your Prabhupada interjects him and says, of course, sometimes we are in difficulty. We ask them something. Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, but that's their duty anyway. Kshatriya should provide protection for the saintly person. Giriraj Maharaj then says, anyway, our real protector is Krishna. Prabhupada says, yes. Giriraj Maharaj, he has, because we have seen so many difficulties, nobody can see any solution. And Prabhupada interjects him and says that one Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotee was ordered to be hanged. Giriraj Maharaj says, I didn't know that. Prabhupada says, Gopinatha Pattanayaka. And Prabhupada continues and says, all the devotees approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thinking that the king will excuse him. He never agreed. Oh, I cannot do that. If he has done something wrong, then let him. Of course, he was saved and protected by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's good wish, but he never agreed. There are some of the examples that simply depend on Krishna. But if they are actually respectful, we can ask them, but it is a difficult job. We cannot keep so strictly, but these are principles taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dwarka Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
I just called Gary Raj Swami to see why he was delayed, and he said he hadn't received the link yet. So I just sent him the link via email.
Okay.
And he should be coming on as soon as he connects. Because I was curious why he was late, so I just called him.
Very
So
good.
he'll
Thank
be
you,
coming
Maharaj.
on as soon as he connects his computer.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Just so everybody knows, for some
Yeah.
reason he never received the link or couldn't find the link. Okay.
We'll wait for him then, Maharaj.
Okay.
Because I was at the end
You
there.
can continue talking. You can continue reading, but just keep your eyes to see when his name comes up on the screen.
Sure, Maharaj. Okay. That was actually that was the end on the book as well. That's the end there. Okay. We'll wait for it. Does anyone else have anything they want to speak for about a few minutes? After Maharaj speaks, we will have Guru Puja. Chakri Prabhu will be there in the temple to do a Guru Puja as well. And I think we may have Jason Prabhu giving us a live feed from the temple room. Is that correct, Mathuranath Prabhu? Is Jason going to give us a live feed?
Yeah, I just talked with him and I texted him the link. And so he's going to try to do.
Okay.
Dwarka Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Okay, I say when I was at that first Rath Yatra, they were doing the Rath cart, and there was Jayananda who was heading everything up, and so right that night, that evening, they had the canopy up, and this big strong wind came and just completely blew the canopy over. I mean, even though it was, I guess it was like a iron or something. I-beam or something, but it blew it over and just bent it over. And all the devotees were thinking, wow, what are we going to do? It's, tomorrow's Rath Yatra, Prabhupada's here. What are we going to do? And all of a sudden somebody said, look up in the sky. So they looked up in the sky and there was a plane riding, they do the sky riding. It said, Hare Krishna right across the sky, and yeah. And so they worked all night, Jayananda, his crew and everything. And then the next morning, Prabhupada came out and everything went fine, but it was, I'll just never forget that. That was just such an amazing thing to see that written across the sky, right after that happened, with that accident. So anyway, thought it would.
That was amazing, yeah.
Just to fill in a little.
Yeah, it is just amazing how, Srila Prabhupada, the immense strength he had. And like, I think Chakri Prabhu said, he's the demigod of the demigods, the topmost demigod. It's amazing. It's Krishna himself. Yes, Maharaj. You're a mute, Maharaj.
I guess I should get off the phone.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yes, I hung up the call, Giriraj Swami, so that it wouldn't echo for you. So I think we're okay now.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Welcome, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's your. Go ahead, Maharaj.
Yeah, I'm grateful to Srila Prabhupada for having brought me into your association. Once on his Guru Maharaj's disappearance day, Srila Prabhupada said, on the absolute platform, there's no difference between the appearance and the disappearance of the spiritual master. Both are beautiful, just like the sunrise and sunset. So although we feel separation, within that separation, our remembrance of Srila Prabhupada is heightened. And thus we experience his sublime presence in separation. A few days before Srila Prabhupada was to leave us, he expressed a desire to travel by bullock cart to different holy places in India. His Holiness Lokanath Swami had been traveling by bullock cart to different places of pilgrimage, and Srila Prabhupada was very enlivened when Srila Prabhupada came to Vrindavan and reported to him. And Prabhupada said that he too would like to go on pilgrimage on a bullock cart. He asked Lokanath Swami to arrange it, and Lokanath Swami was enthusiastic, especially having been encouraged by Prabhupada in such a direct way. He immediately went to organize the cart and make the arrangements. Govardhan Puja was to take place in a couple of days, and Prabhupada said that he would begin his pilgrimage by traveling on a bullock cart to Govardhan Hill to celebrate Govardhan Puja with the Vrajavasis. Now, at that time, Srila Prabhupada was bedridden and one could say emaciated. He was unable to eat. He was able only to sip a little liquid. He was gaunt and weak with almost no energy. He would just lie on his bed, and sometimes with great difficulty, he would speak softly, often so faintly that only those very near to him could hear his words. There were many devotees in the room when Srila Prabhupada had his exchange with Lokanath Swami. And immediately after the discussion ended, the devotees went outside and began expressing two strong, heartfelt opinions about what Srila Prabhupada should do. And more than that, how we as disciples should relate to him and serve him. One group, which included Lokanath Swami and other esteemed senior disciples, such as Hangsaduta Prabhu and Bharadraj Prabhu, felt that we should just do what the spiritual master orders. We shouldn't question his order, we should just execute it. And some of the other disciples, many of whom had been attending to Prabhupada's personal care, such as Tamal Krishna Goswami, Bhakti True Swami, Swarup Damodar Prabhu, later Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami. They felt that Prabhupada's health would not sustain his travels on a bullock cart, and that because he was so emaciated, he practically had no flesh on his bones, it would be very painful for him to go. Even if they padded the cart with a mattress, it would still be a basic bullock cart, and the roads in Vraja were very rough. So the movement of the cart would jostle him, and he would feel pain. Some devotees feared that he might even give up his body on the way. So they didn't want him to be subjected to what they foresaw as certain pain, and perhaps the dire consequence of death. But under the circumstances, the second position was difficult to maintain because Srila Prabhupada was so emphatic. Let me travel to all the tirthastans, he had said. One day experiment, rest assured, I will not die in one day. And when even his Kaviraj, who he was a very good Ayurvedic doctor and a Vaishnav, who had great appreciation for Srila Prabhupada and cared deeply about Srila Prabhupada. So when even he had predicted that with all the jostling on the bullock cart, Prabhupada would not survive more than 2 hours, Prabhupada had replied, but I think I shall be cured. Still, Tamal Krishna Goswami, Bhakti True Swami, Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, Bhavananda Maharaj, and others felt strongly that this experiment would have dire consequences. So finally, the stage came where the bullock cart was waiting outside the gates of Krishna Balaram Mandir. Everything was being readied. And for the devotees who were in the mood that Srila Prabhupada should stay, which included me, it was a dreadful appearance, like the residents of Vrindavan when they saw a Krura getting the chariot ready to take Krishna away. So the evening before his planned departure, Srila Prabhupada was lying on his bed in his house in Vrindavan downstairs. Bhakti True Swami was in the room, and Srila Prabhupada's godbrother, Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, came to visit. And Babaji Maharaj was a very advanced devotee. Srila Prabhupada had said he was a Paramahamsa. He was always engaged in chanting the holy names. He was always absorbed in Harinam, and he was always blissful. And he and Prabhupada had an extraordinarily affectionate relationship. So Bhakti True Swami thought, let me appeal to Babaji Maharaj. If he asks Prabhupada not to go, then Prabhupada may listen. So he brought Babaji Maharaj into another room and spoke with him. After hearing what had transpired, Babaji Maharaj returned to Srila Prabhupada's bedside and told him, I don't think you should go on this parikrama. And when Prabhupada heard this, he replied, if you feel that way, I won't go. Just then, Tamal Krishna Goswami and Bhavananda Maharaj, who had been upstairs in what had previously been Prabhupada's bedroom before they moved the bed down, they came into the room in a very emotional state. And Prabhupada knew what they were thinking, and he asked, so you request me not to go? And Tamal Krishna Goswami replied, Srila Prabhupada, we were getting so upset. Two devotees told me that this road is so bad. If you go on this road, you're going to be jolted back and forth. The road is terrible. I just can't understand why it has to be tomorrow that we have to go. If anyone wants you to travel, I do. But why when you're in this condition? I can't understand it. All right, Srila Prabhupada said, I will not go. And then Bhavananda said, thank you, Srila Prabhupada. I was in too much anxiety. No, I cannot put you in anxiety. I shall do what you like. My left hand and my right hand. I cannot refuse. And then Tamal Krishna Goswami said, actually, Srila Prabhupada, we're so attached to you that you practically drive us to madness sometimes. Tonight we were becoming mad. And no, I shall not do that, Prabhupada assured them. And then he turned to Babaji Maharaj and said, just see how much they love me. Tamal Krishna Goswami said, Srila Prabhupada, the way you deal with us simply deepens our attachment to you at every moment. And Prabhupada replied, it is my duty, which was a very significant statement. And in a way, these final pastimes were orchestrated by Srila Prabhupada and Krishna to draw out our love for Srila Prabhupada. So eventually Prabhupada left. And even after he left, that controversy continued. It was very uh, it was a very strong, I should say the feelings ran very strong on both sides, before Prabhupada left and even afterwards. And I didn't really know what to think of the whole thing. But it was my habit or practice to chant japa in Srila Prabhupada's room when he wasn't there. And after he departed, I did that. I was in his room chanting japa, and behind his bed was an area with his bookshelves. I found a little corner there and was chanting japa when my eyes fell on the new volume of Srimad Bhagavatam that had just arrived, the 10th canto, volume 2. It had been delivered into Srila Prabhupada's hands in his last days. I opened up the book, and it happened to open to chapter 9, Mother Yashoda binds Krishna. I read a few verses and purports, and then I came to a verse that to me answered the question. This is text 19, I'll read it. Evam sandarshita yanga harina brityavasyata savasenapi krishnena vasedam seshvaram vase. O Maharaj Parikshit, this entire universe, with its great exalted demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Lord Indra, is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet the Supreme Lord has one transcendental attribute. He comes under the control of his devotees. This was now exhibited by Krishna in this pastime. And the pastime was encapsulated in the previous verse. Because of Mother Yashoda's hard labor, her whole body became covered with perspiration, and the flowers and comb were falling from her hair. When child Krishna saw his mother thus fatigued, he became merciful to her and agreed to be bound. So when I read these verses, I thought, this is what happened. The spiritual master is the transparent medium through which Krishna manifests himself. Of course, in Vraja Bhakti, the relationship with Krishna is different because in Vraja, Krishna exhibits Nar Lila, human-like pastimes, in which there's complete intimacy and freedom. And with the spiritual master, there's always an element of awe and reverence and duty. But still, duty is meant to lead to love. And Srila Prabhupada did say to Babaji Maharaj, just see how much they love me. So for me, that was the conclusion, that was the lesson, that Srila Prabhupada was drawing out our love for him, and he was happy when we expressed that love, and asked him not to go on the bullock cart to Govardhan Hill, because we didn't want him to suffer pain on the way, and we didn't want to lose him. So, I could say more. It was certainly one of the most memorable experiences of my whole life. Those last days with Srila Prabhupada, and I think that, we had that choice. Prabhupada was sort of giving us that choice. Do we want him to stay with us or not? And we always have that choice. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would quote, people want the kingdom of God without God. So, you know, do we want Prabhupada's kingdom, ISKCON, without Prabhupada? Or do we want it with him? And so, yeah, we always have that choice. And I pray to Srila Prabhupada that I will always remember this lesson and always pray and act in such a way that he will be pleased to stay with each and every one of us individually and all of us collectively and bind us to his lotus feet eternally. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. It was wonderful. Well, these memories, you explained this before as well, the last days, but every time you hear, you get something new. And this time, at least I felt that Prabhupada was telling how to respect seniors. And that is something, that was something that he, because he respected Babaji. And
Yeah.
so he's telling us, you should respect everyone as well, all the seniors. So that was something which I realized from this one. I don't know about others, but thank you for your sharing your experiences, especially with the, in the busy time that you have. You made time. You always make time for us, and you're so special to us always. Thank you, Maharaj.
So you're special
And
to me.
His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you.
His Holiness Ritatwada Maharaj ki jai. And please forgive my offenses because I did not say that to everyone who had spoken earlier. So I offended. I'm very sorry about that. Please forgive me. We will now have Guru Puja. Yes, Mathurat Prabhu, is that right? Guru Puja is going to happen in the temple room, and I think Bhakta Jason Prabhu is going to feed us from there, live feed, and His Grace Chakri Prabhu is actually doing the Guru Puja in the temple room, Maharaj.
Oh, nice.
So I don't see Jason Prabhu. He needs to unmute himself. I'll ask us to start video. Has to unmute. It may take us a few minutes for the technology to work everywhere.
While we wait for the technology to catch up, may I ask His Holiness Giriraj Swami a question?
Absolutely.
Sure, as long as it's not too difficult.
Well, there were two camps. One Prabhupada should go,
Yeah,
and one Prabhupada shouldn't go.
yeah.
So then, Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj said you shouldn't go. So Prabhupada said, I'm not going to go. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was happy, and Babananda Maharaj was happy, and you were happy. But what about the other ones that wanted them to go? What was their reaction? Did they just submit to Srila Prabhupada's changing of his plan, or what was their reaction? Did they try to say, no, you can go, Prabhupada, if you want to go? Or how did that scenario carry out?
No, they, when Prabhupada was firm that he would not go, they accepted it. And I remember the kirtans then were so beautiful. Hansaduta Prabhu's kirtans were just out of this world. And Bharadwaj Prabhu also sang for Srila Prabhupada in those last days. So they were engaged. But afterwards, they were still critical of the devotees who had taken the position that Prabhupada shouldn't go, even though he said that he wanted to go. And so that controversy continued even after Prabhupada left. And like I said, I wasn't really sure where I stood, although I was closer, personally, I was closer to, Tamal Krishna Goswami and Bhakti True Swami and Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. But philosophically, I wasn't sure where I stood. But then I got the answer from Mother Yashoda is binding Lord Krishna. But Krishna comes under the control of his devotees' love. And it very much tied into, Damodar Lila and Damodar Astakam. Because the third verse, Iti Driksa Lila Bir Ananda Kunde Swab Gosham Nimajantam Akyai Bhyantam Tadiyeshita Yeshu Bhaktir Jitatvam Puna Prematastam Sattavritti Vande. By such pastimes, Lord Krishna is drowning the inhabitants of Gokul in pools of ecstasy and revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is conquered only by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and freed from all conceptions of awe and reverence. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, whose belly is bound not with ropes, but with his devotees' pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. So the Damodar Lila shows how pure, spontaneous love can conquer the Lord, and the Lord comes under the control of such pure love. And in the same way, Srila Prabhupada, not exactly that he came under the control of our love, but I would say that he brought out that love from deep within the recesses of our hearts. And then he reciprocated with us by coming under our control or agreeing to our request that he not go. So yeah, it was a great experience. And afterwards, I asked some of the devotees how they felt, whether their attitude had changed, since then. And Lokanath Swami said no. He said he still felt that Srila Prabhupada should have gone. So, it's spiritual variegatedness, but, Prabhupada was the center. That was for sure. For everyone, Prabhupada was the center, and Prabhupada's interests were our interests, even though we had those differences of opinion. So, yeah.
I see they're still setting up the camera, trying to center it. But after that, at Prabhupada's passing, they took Murti Srila Prabhupada,
Yeah.
went around Govardhan, did the Govardhan Parikram. And to my knowledge, that exact deity is here with us in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken, at Gopi Gita's house.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
we are very blessed here in Dallas to have that special, what would you say, that special Murti Srila Prabhupada that carried out his final desire, the final pastime desire that he had.
Yeah.
Very special here.
Yeah, that took place on Gopastami. They took that they took that deity on Govardhan Parikrama. And when in our own way, when Tamal Krishna Goswami and I got the palace at Govardhan, we took it that in a way we were fulfilling Srila Prabhupada's desire to go to Govardhan. And of course, we installed the deity of Srila Prabhupada in the palace, the Bhaktivedanta Ashram, Govardhan.
Well, thank you so much, Maharaj, for coming online with us today and giving us the details of those final days and the impact that it had on you and the impact that it had on all the devotees that were there. To have that, to witness that event is special, and it's special for us that you shared it with us and your realizations of it from reading that part of the 10th canto that kind of taught us how Krishna was bound. It's not by some material arrangements by the love of the devotees. And we just pray that we are able to continue to grow in that love and have your association to help us in that way. And it's really, really special for us here. Thank you so much for taking the time to come. I'm sorry that we didn't somehow or another get you the Zoom. And I
I
feel,
didn't get to meet you before.
yeah, I feel fortunate that I was the one that decided maybe I should just call you because there must be something, because otherwise
I
you'd
think it was a divine arrangement
yes.
because I always turn off the ringer. I was chanting japa and I always turn off the ringer.
Oh.
But somehow I forgot to turn it off.
Mm.
And so I was able to hear your call come in. And then I was able to.
Krishna magic, as you know, Prabhu used to say, Krishna magic.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Maharaj, for
Thank
attending
you.
us.
Thank you.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna,
Oh,
Hare
glory
Krishna.
to Srila Prabhupada. Oh, glory to you,
I
sir.
see Gopi Gita, they're the caretaker for the Srila Prabhupada Murti.
Yeah, Abraham obeisances.
Hare Krishna. Haribol.
Maharaj, I have a bunch of little kids who want to say Hare Krishna to you because we're all online right now. Okay, you guys go ahead.
Hare Krishna, that's nice to see them. Nice. Zoom school. Zoom school.
I think we are ready to start.
Okay, it
Guru
seems
Puja
like
now,
they've
Maharaj.
got the thing set up, so I guess we can turn it back over to Dorka and back to Jason.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, we are ready for Guru Puja. Thank you. Jason Prabhu, Chakri Prabhu, can you start Guru Puja, please? Haribol.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you, but barely. We can hear you.
Lalita Loka Shanayakaranya Ganaganatam
Need some help cooking.
Davana Lalita Loka Shanayakaranya Ganaganatam
That's what I'm saying. If we start to see what help I need.
Satyakalanya Gunanavasya Pandegara Sri Charanaravinda
Need to go now or in a little while? Yeah, let me first see what I need help. I haven't gone to the kitchen at all. I haven't watched menu or anything.
Vasya Pandegara Sri Charanaravinda Mahaprabhu Kirtanya Nrita Gita Vaditra Marjan Manasavasena
Oh, no, of course it's going to bother me very much. You know, I'm completely traumatized. No, I'm going to leave. I'm going to have to go and cook. It's not there to cook.
Mahaprabhu Kirtanya Nrita Gita Vaditra Marjan Manasavasena Ramachakrampa Sritaranga Bhaja Vandegara Sri Charanaravinda
Persians. Persians. Also, Maharaj, before we carry on, I know you're going to do Japa Soga. I'm going to carry on all that, but we really, I guess I should say new journal because I know we need to do some maintenance. There's a lot of things calling about our dryer isn't working. The house needs to be painted. I phoned another company that I saw in the independent section.
Shingaratan Mandira
And then the other day I saw John and I
Majanado.
said, why, when are you going to paint your house? Because to them it looks tacky. Because half the boarded up part is white, the other part is faded yellow, and then it's full of bird shit. And then I also,
Shingaratan Mandira Majanado.
and we have rats in the house. I could smell it, so I have to call the pest control company to come and see because they just didn't listen to me. And now, sure enough, we have rats.
Yuktasya Bhaktam Chani Junyatopi Vandegarasi Charanaravenda.
We need termite people, and I don't think we're going to tent the house. We should get that E. coli, they blow the hot air in. Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff we cannot wait.
Yuktasya Bhaktam Chani Junyatopi Vandegarasi Charanaravenda.
My contractor, because they should probably wait on some of the items until after we break, like the painting.
Shri Bhagavat Prasado Pradana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangam.
I don't know.
Jatarvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasado Pradana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangam. Kridvaiva Triptin Bhajata Sadeva Vandegara Shri Charanaravindam. Kridvaiva Triptin Bhajata Sadeva Vandegara Shri Charanaravindam. Shri Radhika Madhavayo Apara Madhurya Lila Guna Rupanam. Shri Radhika Madhavayo Apara Madhurya Lila Guna Rupanam. Pratikshanasvadana lulupasya Vandegara Shri Charanaravindam. Nikunjayuno Ratikeli Sijay Yaya Labir Yukir Pikshaniya. Nikunjayuno Ratikeli Sijay Yaya Labir Yukir Pikshaniya. Tatrati Daksharati Valapasya Vandegara Shri Charanaravindam. Tatrati Daksharati Valapasya Vandegara Shri Charanaravindam. Jakshadaridvena Samastra Sastri Uktastata bhavyata eva sadbi. Shakshadhare dvena samashrasastri. Uktasata bhavyata eva.
Jason Prabhu, we can't hear you. Oh, I think we lost them. Did we? Mathranath Prabhu, can you call Jason Prabhu again, please? We seem to have lost him.
Yeah, I'm calling him now.
Thank you.
Okay.
You got what? Follow?
I'm talking to her. Dwarka Prabhu. He said his phone overheated and it just went out. So I don't know if we can go from the temple camera.
I'm trying to do that.
He's going to try to get it back on, but
I'm not seeing the temple room.
it wasn't on this morning.
No, I'm not seeing it.
Well, he's going to take this phone out of the case and see if it works better, you know, if it.
Okay. I thought I saw Rasraj Prabhu online, but he's not there either now. Because I don't see on YouTube. I don't see our temple room. Let me check again. Go to Facebook. Facebook will not show the. Ah, there he is.
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivastadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya 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 Prabhupada. Nitagor Haribo, 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 Nitagor Haribo. Nitagor Haribo, 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 Nitagor Haribo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai. Hare 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 Bo.
Jai Vishnupada. Jai Vishnupada. His divine grace will I see what
Ki Jai. 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 Jai.
Holy Disappearance Day with divine grace, Srila A.C.
Jai. 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 Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Gauranga. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shante Bhaktivedanta Swami Nami Namaste Shashvati Gauranga Pratrinam Shesha Shinivadi Prasthadeshwari Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Harshit Sari Gauranga Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama.
Thank you, Jason Prabhu, for giving us the opportunity to visit.
Namaste Narashingaya. Pralada Lada Dayine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaya. Shila Tanka Nakalaye. Ito Nishinga Parato Nishinga. Yata Yata Amitata Nishinga. Baya Here Nishinga Here Nishinga. Nashingam Adim Sharanam Prapade. Nashingam Adim Sharanam Prapade. Tavakara Kamalavari Nakam Abhuta Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Dano Bringa Keshavatirtha Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Tavakara Kamalavari Nakam Abhuta Shinga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Dana Bringa Yeshavatirtha Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadeta Narahari Rupa Jaya Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Nashingadev, 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 Jaya Nashingadev. Jaya Nashingadev, 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 Jaya Nashingadev. Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitagor Haribo, 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 Nitagor Haribo. Jai, Jai. Jai. Haribo.
Thank you, Jason Prabhu, for allowing us to watch the temple virtually from here. And thank you, everyone. That ends our program today. And we'll see you all next time. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Madhurnath Prabhu.
Thank
for
you, George.
giving us the idea to organize this.
This is a great job. emceeing. It was a wonderful job. And thanks to all that participated. And have a wonderful day. Jai. Dwarka Prabhu ki jai.
Madhurnath Prabhu ki jai. Thank you.
Dwarka Prabhu ki jai.
Madhurnath Prabhu ki jai. Haribol. Haribol, everyone. Thank you. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai.
Thank you, Haribo.
Thank you, Haribol. I'll call you later, Mataji.
Okay.